Hi, sixth grade. I'm going to recap the Persian Wars. As you think about the Persian Wars, I want you to think of sports. Look at the two teams. Look at the one on the left and then look at the one on the right. Who do you think is going to win the game? I'm going with this team too. Why do I say that? Now think about which of this team do you think would be the Greeks? Which one do you think would be the Persians? This would be the Greeks. Why would that be? Look how different each kid is, right? They don't have a uniform. They're not together. They look maybe some are interested in playing, some are just interested in goofing around. And in the side of the Persians, they all have a uniform. They have one leader. They're all in it together. Now, how do I make this comparison? Remember that the Greeks were city states, and each city state had its own military, its own laws, and its own government. And that does not unite them. It does not bring them together. That creates a little bit of some disorganization when it comes in times of war and when they need to be united in order to fight together. The Persians were this large united empire, and they were organized under one leader, right, with several military generals to take on these these wars and battles. But despite the size of Greece, itty bitty Greece, they take on the Persians. Now, how did that start? The Greeks didn't want to invite the Persians into their territory. Instead, the Persians took on the Greeks. That's why it's called the Persian Wars. Well, there was this beginning time where it began with the Ionia was trying to defend themselves against Persia. They revolted against Persia. They asked the Greeks to help. The Greeks stepped in to help Ionia, and they won. Persia didn't like that. So Persia took on and declared war against the Greeks. It was all over this area here, wanting more territory for trade routes, and then the Persians set their sights on further beyond Greece into what is known today as Europe. Well, the first battle was Marathon. Marathon was a Greek victory. The most interesting thing coming from this battle was the running race, Marathon. There was a runner, Phidippides, who ran from Marathon to Athens to tell of the victory. He did it barefoot over rocky soil. Unfortunately, soon after he told of the victory, Phidippides died. Rest in peace, Phidippides. The second battle in Persian Wars was called Thermopylae. Thermopylae was a loss for the Greeks. They lost because of a Greek traitor. Now, this traitor is something different. This traitor went behind his city-state's back and told the Persians where the Greeks were going to be stationed. The Persians listened, and they did a surprise attack at the narrow mountain pass at Thermopylae. The third battle was the Battle of Salamis. Salamis was fought on Greece's home court advantage, the sea. We know Greece is a peninsula, taking on the sea for trade, for colonization, fishing. They were very skilled sailors. But not only that was their trireme. The trireme was a ship with 3 levels of oarsmen. This allowed them to navigate in narrow waterways and defeat the Persians at Salamis. So what does this mean? This all means that the Greeks won the Persian Empire. They were able to protect their independence. What if the Persians had won? Imagine that, I'm going to use my pointer here. This is all of the Persian Empire. Whoops, went a little far. All that. If they would have won over Greece, the Persians would have continued to take on and perhaps take on the rest of Europe. It would have changed the course of history. But because the Greeks were able to defeat the Persians, they preserved their independence. And today, we have many of the contributions that the Greeks were able to develop. Stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to send you a review of the Greek governments. Email me with questions. Take care. Bye-bye.